you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why there's no such coaching program like my coaching program, and nobody spends as much time with and on their clients like I do. True story. All the information from me is below. If you're here for coaching, I have different packages. I coach in audio exchange. Excuse me. I coach also in Zoom sessions if you want to talk like this. I also coach in telephone sessions. There's also coaching for coaches that I've been discussing on my channel, which is basically I teach you everything that I've learned throughout the last 8 years that I have been a coach. I help you set up your business. And every single coach that I've coached this way has walked away totally knowing what to do, and tripled, quadrupled, and quintupled their monthly income from before. And this is the complete truth. If you want to explore that, you can schedule a phone session with me, regardless of which coaching package you choose. We can schedule an hour. We can go over all of the objectives. Hello, Melissa. Hello, thank you. I love your nails. We can schedule an hour session to go over your objectives in coaching, the current state of affairs, and la la la. And I can apply that hour towards any monthly coaching. Now, before I forget, I posted a video, a quick short or whatever it's called. Today, okay, today's live, 2 people will receive 10% off of any monthly package that I have. Okay, all the links are already below. And you can apply this for the duration of your coaching with me. So if it takes you, I don't know, 6 months or whatever it is, you will get it every single month. So that's huge. I never offer discounts. I never offer discounts. I never offer discounts. So, but for whatever reason, I was inspired to today. So here I am. So before I start my subject, I'm here for you. Mostly, this is your opportunity to ask questions. And the other thing I really have to explain here, I have a parade going on outside. It's St. Patrick's Day parade. I don't know why they're not celebrating it on the 17th that they should, but here we are. So you're going, I hear it. So if I hear it, I know you'll hear it. All the doom, 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 doom. It's so funny. A lot of Irish people are out there like drinking and yeah, this kind of deal. So apologies for the noise in advance. In other words, cheers. This is called oolong tea. It's a little bit strange, but I'm kind of starting to like it. Very grassy, very interesting. So I love old tea, so I'm kind of like trying this. Okay, so today's subject, I kind of thought about it for a long time, what I want to title it, because I wanted it to sound really intriguing. I wanted it to sound catching, but at the same time, I wanted it to be something that actually explains manifestation for a lot of you. Okay, so also thank you for all the comments on my videos, etc. And all these things that you guys say. You can comment a lot more. Okay, I really like comments. I just when it comes to me promoting my business, I really have to do that. I encourage, that's how I coach every single person in my coaching. I will not stop doing my intros. So, whoever wants to just watch my videos, you can. And I'm more than kind of like willing to continue making free content, and this is why I'm here in the first place. And this is kind of like what I'm going to start doing. I think I will do once a week on Saturday like this, a live, and the rest of the time I will do audios, because let me tell you, an audio for me to post, it takes like 5 seconds. I record it, I pause it when I want to, etc., and then I can just say what I gotta say the way I want to say it, because sometimes I rewatch my lives, and because I'm live and I don't get to stop it, sometimes I rewatch it, I'm like, I could have said that better or whatever. So actually audio for me is a really like a good instrument Not to say that I'm like any less in person, but it takes shorter time. If I keep talking like this in the video, I feel like it's taking me longer. Anyway, I think you get it. And so the rest of the times I will be with audios. So that's just how I roll. I love audios. Those of you who have been in my coaching and know this form of expression, it really allows you to stop and think what you're going to say. It's a very good exercise. Sometimes on a phone call when I'm on with my clients, so there's no time to think. You're just like, you keep talking, you know what I mean? And so the audios are like, you have to think about what you're going to say. You're going to take some notes and this and the other. So it's a really helpful tool. Okay, so the subject of today is when a lie becomes the truth. So the idea behind this is that there's a very poignant idea here, and that is every manifestation starts with a lie. Every manifestation starts with something that is not here yet. Okay, so we're all kind of liars in effect whenever we're manifesting something. And so this is just to help you to start believing what it is you're actually wanting to create. When sometimes people tell me in my coaching, Anna, but I don't believe it. Anna, but I have a hard time believing like what I'm scripting, what I'm writing. Well, everything you are today, everything that you've manifested thus far, at some point was not visible. It was not there. Okay? You were asking for it, perhaps. You were dreaming about it. You were manifesting it, but you were not having it. And this is the entire premise of manifestation, is having it internally, mentally, having it now versus asking for it. There's a difference in energy, right? So when somebody, for example, manifests an SP back or wants a transformation of that SP or whatever, wants to receive a text message, etc., most people, the idea for them is that they're in the energy of wanting. It is not here, I'm lacking something, and so I'm continuously wanting, asking. The manifestation then becomes extra quick when you start understanding that everything is already here now. All the parallel realities are here in the same room with you. You choose the reality based on your state of being. Okay? So it is delusion. It is kind of lying to yourself temporarily, right? But that lie then becomes the truth. Okay? And I really wanted, because my mind is kind of like, when I start channeling, something weird happens to me. I have so many thoughts in my fucking mind, you have no idea. And I don't know which one to go to first. So bear with me if it's a little bit like all over the place. Let me get a sip of my tea, excuse me. Excusez-moi. By the way, ask your questions. I will complete my thought and I'll answer your questions, etc. So, where was I? So, that something that you want to manifest your SP, you want your sum of money, you want your situation to get better, it already exists. So you're constantly in a state of either being a liar or a liver of that situation. Okay, so the way to bring about a certain outcome, you first have to be a liar. By definition, it's not here, right? Like whenever somebody started out being poor or not having that job or not having that SP or not having whatever, and they would say to themselves, there are many like examples in history like that, where somebody said, I am rich, and they had no fucking money, or like, I am married and they were not married to that person, or this person will become my husband, and there was no way for them to they haven't even met that person yet, or it was a celebrity or whatever. There are many instances like that. So in that moment, yeah, of course, it's a lie. It's not true. Okay, you're not hurting anybody by saying that lie, by the way. So it's a very kind of like white lie. But I'm going to tell you something. I wanted to share this experience with you where this is literally how you manifest, like insanely fast. So when I was 11 years old, My parents were, whatever, separating. It was a whole drama, trauma, panorama. And they separated for some time. They were filing for divorce, la la la. Why that is important, you will see later. And I was at my grandma. My maternal grandma lives in Siberia. Used to live. She's dead now, unfortunately. And I was in her house, and for whatever reason, right, I didn't know anything about anything, okay? And I will explain this, it will make sense to you. But I started playing in front of the mirror in my grandmother's bedroom, and kind of like making faces and this and that. I was always very artistic, and I was already taking acting classes and this and that. And I was making faces and kind of like, and all of a sudden I had this inspiration of pretending to speak French. And I hadn't been speaking French at that age. I started taking lessons like right after, but I wasn't speaking French at that time. But I knew how it sounded. Like I knew what French language sounded, right? La blah blue, blah blah blue. You know, kind of like this. You know, I started like playing around with it, and pretending like I was actually French speaking. Well, wouldn't you know? Cut to like 6 months later when my parents decided to permanently separate because they were trying to figure it out for a while. I was sent to live with my very wealthy aunt in France, and I had to learn French. Now, I didn't know at that point where she lived. I knew she was living part-time in Russia, part-time in Europe, but I didn't know specifically, like an 11-year-old doesn't occupy their brain with these things. So that was completely like, and let me tell you something, doing anything in front of the mirror, this is ultra powerful, which is why like some people like doing affirmations in front of the mirror, or anything in front of the mirror. But the mirror is literally, I don't want to spook you guys, it's a portal. Okay, it's a portal to another dimension. This is why this whole shebang, like fairy tales, have a lot of truth in them. When it's like Alice through the looking glass and this and that, mirror is, there's meditations about it. I've researched this. Okay, this is this is not like voodoo magic. Okay, this is an actual like known fact where it's like there's certain things that people do, like two mirrors aligned and la la la, the labyrinth and all this kind of jazz. You can actually experience, you know, kind of like going into another reality. Now, I wouldn't experiment with it unless you know exactly what you're doing, okay? I have experimented with it, but you really need to work on your beliefs first. Anything you do with manifestation, if you haven't aligned yourself with your purpose, with what it is you want to do, okay? Be careful, because your subconscious mind is super fucking powerful, a powerful motherfucker. You need to take care of that shit first and then experiment doing magic. Let me read these comments. You are my new favorite coach. Finally, someone who is actually advanced. Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Well, I worked hard at it. So, you know, listen, when I sound like obnoxious and kind of like arrogant in my audios, I don't mean to be arrogant. I'm just confident in what I know. Okay. I know that I'm like not, you know, the only coach out there who's advanced. I'm just saying, out of all the coaches that are on the internet who, how can I say this generation of everybody's a coach. I'm not talking about like the Robin Williamses, Tony Robbinses of the world and this and that, even though, although I don't really like him. I don't know why, he doesn't resonate with me whatsoever. I'm just saying that level. I'm talking about people who are like coaches, self-proclaimed coaches. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Like the other day I had this discussion with one of my clients, like what's the difference between a coach that's certified or not certified? And to me, certification means nothing. Really not. It's just like a therapist. Two therapists could have gone to school and gotten the same fucking degree, and one of them sucks. All right. So it really doesn't matter. I think it's about research, especially being a coach. What is the certification going to tell you? This person just paid, literally, all it takes, ready, for you to receive a certification being a life coach is money. Is money and taking a course for like, I don't know, maybe a week or something. Really? That's such crap and bullshit. Don't even get me started. Okay, but thank you for the compliment. Okay, so don't mean to be arrogant, but I just know exactly what I'm talking about. And I really, what I'm passionate most about, honestly, not for nothing, is about spreading the word as much as I can to as many people as I can. So when you're on my channel, if you're listening and you're not fucking subscribed, subscribe. Because I want as many people to understand how it's really done and not to buy into all this fucking other jazz. Okay, the affirmations and all this fucking bullshit. Which leads me to my next point. Again, 500 miles per hour, my brain is working today. Affirmations are not the way to manifest. Can I just make this point with everybody once and for all out there? It is not. If you're starting with affirmations, and I have so many clients who've attested to this in my coaching, like out of 100, I would say 99%. There's only one who's like swears by affirmations. Okay, if it works for you, you know, if that's what you like, God bless you, whatever. But 99% of people came to me and said, I've tried these affirmations, I've tried the 10,000 affirmations, It doesn't work. It doesn't work because you're trying to hammer in something into your brain without having done the work on yourself first. How the fuck is it supposed to work? I gave this really gross analogy over and over on my channel where it's literally if you were to put a delicious jar of jam, on top of shit, like a pile of shit. It's a jar of jam that's delicious, but it's a pile of shit underneath. All right. So you need to clean the garbage first, and then introduce caviar, champagne, and jam, and whatever else you please. Okay, an affirmation for me personally, the way I teach affirmations, not repeating them throughout the day. It's not necessary. If it's necessary for you to repeat something to yourself over and over and over again, by definition, it means that you don't buy into it. You don't buy into it. Give up on it. Okay, temporarily. Stop trying to hammer it into your mind. I would rather you work on yourself. And here's how I understand affirmations. Let me just explain this really quick. This is how an affirmation works. So, for example, I have it on my desk. Which one should I choose? Okay, so I have this affirmation. Hold on. Some chalk on this. See? On an index card. And it says, no matter what I think or do, my magic and desires are coming true. Everything is coming together. That's the follow-up. There's 2 affirmations on it. Now, there are other ones, but these are my favorite ones. But this is how I do things. I've already done the work on myself. I have been working on myself for the last 15 years. All right? It never stops. It never stops to work on you. Parenthesis here. But the point is, I don't need to read this 5,000 times a day. I know this. This is a statement that I believe. And once in a while, I look at it and oh, yeah. Once a day is all you need. If you have an affirmation or 2, not 10,000, 1 time, 2 times, tops. Tops. Capiche? Tops. You get up in the morning and you're no matter what I think or do, my magic and desires are coming true. The end. And then you go on to your merry day and you explore your universe and this and that. The next morning, no matter what I think or do, all my desires are coming true. That's it. If you're manifesting something new, and I'm going to give you this other example. I gave you the example with friends, and then I essentially, in 6 months from the episode with the mirror, I ended up in France, living with my aunt, okay? And I spent 3 years there. Before I go on, I have to read this comment. I just want to tell you that you're beautiful. Thank you. And you have the kind of charisma is so much the secure and honest charisma, the no bullshit charisma. Okay, thank you. I don't know you, but that's what I see. Thank you. That's very kind of you. So the other example that I want to explain to everybody. So when I was 17, I made up my mind that I'm coming to US. Actually, when I was 16. And I mean, listen, I've been dreaming of coming to US since I saw Marilyn Monroe when I was 5, but that's another story for another time. So I was just, my mom and I were never got along. That's another story for another time as well. And as soon as I felt grown up enough, she didn't want me to do anything that made me happy. And so at 16, I made up my mind. I'm going to US. That's it. Basta. Had enough. And I earned the money for the visa. I earned the money for that, for the college that I wanted to go, at least the initial part to get into it. My dad helped me a little bit, but basically I did everything else myself, right? That's how fucking determined I was. Like numerous tests, interviews, blah, 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 blah. They don't make it easy for you. And every time I would leave, like, let's say I had like a medical test to make sure like everything was fine with me. Every time I would leave to an appointment to, yet another like interview or whatever, I would say, I'm an American now, right? Such a bold fucking statement. I'm not even like there yet. And I'm declaring I'm an American, right? In Russia, this little fucking Russian girl, excuse me for picking my nose or just itching. I'm not really picking my nose. It's just itching. I'm declaring I'm an American. Now, it took me, I don't know, from the time I landed, it took me like 12 years to become an American. But I went into every single interview declaring I'm an American, I'm an American, I'm an American. And of course, it came to pass. Now, of course, in the 3D, it took time. It took like all these other things. But I am an American today. So you see, you program in your mind. It's not about repetition of it 10,000 times. It's about dropping the idea into your subconscious mind where, you know what I mean? It's like, there's a Russian saying, and I'm going to try to translate it. It's do it seldom, but do it right kind of deal. It's not necessary. So after a while, like if you're listening to a tape of affirmations to go to sleep, or if you're affirming every single day, after a while, the words, they cease to have meaning. It's just like, da 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 da. It's like, you're going to go crazy, okay? And how I know this, parenthesis here, in the beginning of me learning how to meditate, I experimented with that. You know what happened? Actually, something like really crazy happened, because I have a very sensitive, kind of like impressive mind, if you will. And basically, I started dreaming of people showing up in my dreams and repeating these affirmations to me, which freaked me the fuck out, like nonstop. They just like kept coming at me. And that really freaked me out, and I stopped listening to that. It's not necessary is the point. It's best to just say it one time in the morning. You can put it on your, like a mirror in the bathroom or on your desk or whatever, okay? And just have it like a little prayer almost. Use it wisely. This is a good tool, but don't overuse it, and understand how to use it, okay? Do you hear the noise? Use it after having done the work. Don't do it before, okay? Don't do it before. Don't put the horse like, before the cart, or however they say it. Use it wisely. Okay, if you guys have questions, please, I'm here for it. And so if it's not a lie, if you believe it, if you commit to something today, whether that's your SP coming back, your SP changing, your SP committing to you, proposing to you, whether that's you get that job, that dream job finally, whether that's the turnaround in your finances, it takes a decision, and it starts with a lie. It starts with something that doesn't exist at this moment. But in the next minute, you're going to start vibrating it into existence with your decision. Okay? If you're day in and day out, the energy transference towards it continues, and you're feeding this idea, and you're saying, I am wealthy, my bank account is full of money, I am a millionaire, even though it's not true, but you on the inside are totally buying into this idea. Don't say it if you don't believe it, okay? You need to start with belief. In other words, this is why the belief work first is so important, because you cannot start with something you don't believe. You need to start with no resistance. Okay, you need to start with something that your mind easily accepts. So if you don't believe that you can become a millionaire, drop that affirmation. It's not going to serve you. It's just not going to serve you. When you change your belief and you accept an idea that you can become a millionaire, yeah, then introduce that fucking affirmation and have it on your desk. I'm a millionaire. What else is new? So natural and normal. But if you're going in with the affirmation in hopes of changing a belief, good luck. Seriously. So, but if you come into my coaching, and parenthesis here before I forget. So I introduced the webinars, right? A private webinar for one, and then there's a group one. So things like how to work on your beliefs, how to do, work on your emotions and release your emotions behind these incidents that really troubled you, whether you wanted to do it in a group, which I understand is not private, obviously. You can do it privately. But again, I want to stress there's nothing like my coaching, which again, just a reminder to everybody, the best question, two of the people who will have the best questions today will get 10% of any of my monthly coaching. Excuse me. Let me just read this. I forgot to tell everybody's name. Okay, Maliani Rose says, glad to see you live. Thank you. Glad Info says, I had that in a dream also. The mannequins in my dream were repeating it verbatim and to my face in my dream. Yeah, so you hear something and your mind starts translating it into some kind of a vision. And your subconscious mind is, it just, I feel like that's a way of your subconscious mind really rebuttaling it, really not accepting it. And like some people ask me in my coaching about the subliminal. I think like you really have to do this work, being aware aware of what you're changing. If it's subliminal, I don't know. It's the same shit. Like to me, it's the same thing. Like, first of all, being lazy, okay, and not wanting to do the work correctly, and just hoping, kind of like that this tape of subliminals is going to do the push-ups for you. There's no such thing. Which leads me, actually, the other day I watched the video by accident, by chance I should say. There's no such thing as an accident. Because I was on my YouTube doing something, and I saw this clip of this guy, and mind you, has millions of subscribers. Again, I don't understand this algorithm situation. Really, really, I don't. I give up by now on understanding it. I just, for me, I show up, I do my thing, I do it the best way I can, and the end. I don't want to understand it anymore. So this guy tells this lengthy story about how he went to a Tony Robbins event, paid $2,000. And of course, it's a massive event. You guys all know what what it looks like. He comes out and he starts talking and this and that, motivation speech, la la la. And so his complaint then becomes, he was complaining that that he didn't get anything out of it. That that Tony Robbins was too quick on answering questions, that he was very, he didn't engage with everybody like a lot. Well, I mean, what do you expect that's going to happen, first of all? Oh, and he added, well, I still want to believe in magic, that magic is possible, and this wasn't magic. Okay. Let's unpack this idiotic statement. First of all, if you're going to spend $2,000 on a fucking event where there's like 30,000 other people, you really think that you're going to get like some kind of like personal one-on-one coaching from somebody? No. Secondly, magic that you create is in one-on-one coaching, when somebody literally spends time with you. Don't go on to these events, don't do these online courses and expect like a revolution to come to you, just like all these people who expect to watch a video, or 300 million of them, and expect for it to suddenly dawn on them that they're the creator of their life. It doesn't exist. Why are people so lazy? Some of them, I will never understand. It does take time and it does take investment. It does take effort. Okay? If you're going to hope for magic to happen and you're not going to do anything for it, just like watch videos, oh my fucking God. Good luck. Seriously though. Okay. But some of these people actually were in my coaching and I couldn't believe it. Like, really? You expect to just, for me, some people just show up and say, well, just give me the good stuff, like right off the bat. Before we even just like started like covering history, just give me the good stuff quickly. Just give me the good stuff. We'll just like do this quickly. No, we won't. No, we won't. You don't understand the process, and I'm going to do it correctly because I'm a professional. It needs to start that you understand who you are. I don't care how many coaches you've been to, and I don't care what kind of work you think you have done. If you've done the work, your reality would reflect it. So let's just cut the fucking crap. Okay, that's number one. And so you need to cover the history. You need to be very honest in coaching. You cannot omit things, all right, and expect results to not show up in your reality. Where it's like some people say, everything is fine. Everything is fine. It's just my SP, I need him back and everything else will be fine. No, no, no. Let me guess, your whole life is in shit show. The SP is just the least of your fucking worries, quite frankly. You need to start with you. And if there is a message that's a continuous thread throughout my channel on YouTube, and my message as a coach to every single person in my coaching is exactly this. Excuse me. You need to do you. Without you, you will have nothing. And what I really mean by that is you need to come to terms with what it is you really believe, what it is you're really not letting go of, what it is that still need to be worked on. And if your reality isn't changing, then you're lying to yourself, quite frankly. I'm going to be so blunt right now. You're lying to yourself. You're still hanging on to these ideas. You're still not investing in yourself on some level. You don't believe in yourself. And so the reality continues to reflect. It doesn't exist that the person, and I've done this long enough where I know which person has actually done what I instructed them to do and which person hasn't. And they lie to themselves and to me, okay? Very charmingly so, and I let them get away with it because, well, my job is to assist. If you're not going to do what I ask you to do, I'm not your mother, okay? I'm a coach. You're going to have to be a grown-up and do what I suggest. So you can tell me everything is fine, but I see the results and I know exactly which person does what I ask them to do, or suggest, rather, not ask them. I don't tell you to do anything. I suggest that if you want the result that you say you want to get, I would take these steps. This is exactly the verbiage I use. If I were you, I would do this. Now it's up to you to take this and run with it, or stay where you are. But regardless, the choice is yours. And so don't expect your coach, okay, to do your push-ups for you, to spread magic dust all over you, if you're not going to do anything about what it is that's being suggested, and on top of it, lie about what it is you're doing and not doing. Okay, or if you don't understand, then say, I don't understand. There's no embarrassment, there's no judgment or criticism whatsoever. I think it's worse if you're lying and you're saying, oh no, I did that and it just doesn't work for me. Then you haven't done that, because it works every single time, because I know the people who have done it and they literally receive results like within my coaching. I'm talking like 2 weeks into it, 2-3 weeks into it, life-changing events. I'm not even fucking making shit up. I really am not. I'm amazed. But the thing is, I am just here to suggest you're the one who needs to do the work. Okay? And if you're really fucking pissed off with your life, sometimes you really need to get fucking pissed off. And I love that because it drives you to do better. Okay, man, I've experienced this in my life where I was just like, I fucking had it. I need a change in my life, darling. And everything that I've been putting up with, I used to be a people pleaser, a recovering people pleaser, which I try to inspire a lot of my, I almost said students, my clients, to never do again. It doesn't serve you, okay? say, I've had it. I need a new life. I need to stop lying to myself. Need to stop putting up with bullshit. If you really want to change your life, you need to really pay attention to what the coach is saying to you, provided you resonate with them. And parenthesis here, big parenthesis here, okay? Because I have a note in my notes. Excuse me, so thirsty today. You hear music? I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it loud. Oh, now it's really loud. Parenthesis here, the coach that you will pick, pay attention, because I've personally, like when 15 years ago, I started exploring the situation of manifestation, etc. I've literally paid other, just to interview them, right? To have a session. I've paid several coaches, really expensive ones, okay? Like $2,000 an hour, all right? So, and I've met with some of them, and let me tell you something, even at that level, there's a lot of bullshit. And a couple of them, and I see these things like my clients and the listeners of my channel and everybody who's been in my coaching and this and that, current or past, keep sending me things like, what do you think about this? Look at this shit show, look at that. I know who's full of shit out there. I'm not going to name names, all right? I hear a lot of things through the grapevine, and I think a lot of the names out there, like even the coaches that, you all know who they are. All of these like big ones, okay, big ones, with the affirmations, and you know who they are. Like the other, just before I went live, somebody commented about this coach. I have no idea how they get all these followers. I really don't, because there are literal reviews about them online where when you get into coaching with them, and this is what I really want to stress, if the coach tells you that something is impossible to manifest, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, okay? That, and worse, that they have never experienced that themselves, okay? And they're projecting their own drama on you. This is completely present with some coaches. And I really just want you to be aware of this. Just because they call themselves a coach, not all coaches are equal. Just keep that in mind. The red flag number one would be somebody telling you this is impossible. My only situation that I discuss in my coaching is that if the person turned abusive to you, this is something I don't recommend. Is it possible to change a person like that? Yes. But do you want to deal with something like this where your memories of this abuse is also clear and you've been traumatized by that? And by the way, excuse me, but trauma, even emotional, stays with you for years. You might not even realize how much of damage is being done while still living it. So that's my only exclusion, because I lived through this and it took me years to be able to shake it off. So that's my only thing. Everything else, everything is possible. So if a coach is telling you you shouldn't do this, like literally one coach that I interviewed 15 years ago, and again, $2,000 an hour coach telling me in secret, and I'm not making this up, I only teach them what they want to hear. I don't actually believe this stuff. I was like, my jaw was on the ground, okay? Because for me, even though I was like a newbie in manifestation, I totally believed that this is possible. And because of that, it did work for me, okay? And so, hey, Laura P., how are you? Yeah, for us, the time changed a week ago. So you guys over there, later, I guess you do it. Oh, okay, in 2 weeks it is in Europe. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why they do it like that, but I guess whatever. Where was I? So there is I've read so many different things about different coaches, which on their YouTube they say something else, and then in private they tell people a completely different story. And to me that's scary. And so if somebody tells you something is impossible, that's the number one giveaway that this person doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Okay, let me just read through the comments real quick because I saw, excuse me. Sushant Raj says, very true. I'm not sure what was that in reference to. Excuse me, but thank you for the comment. Okay, boring ghosts. Boring ghosts. Boring ghosts says, oh my god, that's the funniest shit ever. What does it mean if you are always seeing repeating numbers like 222, 444, 1111? Is that a sign that your manifestation is on its way? Yes. And actually, I used to have, I don't know if I kept that video on my channel. I used to have this video about explanation of all the numbers. But essentially, yeah, it all means the same thing, more or less, where it's like, stay in the vibration of the high altitudes because it's coming true. So 111 is pay attention to your thoughts. 222, your miracle is around the corner. 333, angels are around you, so ask away. 444, your miracle is just about to land in your lap, or just witness what's going to happen. Basically, everything is in your favor. 555 is money or change of some kind that's also in your favor. 666 is balance, regardless of what people think about number 6. A balance in terms of, don't pay attention to the 3D so much, pay attention to your internal world. 777 is obviously the luckiest number, very lucky. Something wonderful is about to happen. 888 is obviously infinity, and that can represent money, abundance in all form. 999 is the completion of a cycle, letting something go, forgiveness, da da da. 1010 is something new, a new beginning, a birthing of new beginning. And 1111 is basically the doorway to, it's like literally 11, the doorway to a new dimension. You can jump realities at that time. My favorite, I would text this client of mine. I would hold, like, I don't know if you guys experiment with this, but basically I did. At 11:11, I would pause time for like a minute, right? Like whether it's on my phone, my iPad, or my laptop, and I would pause it, and the next number I would see, the next time I would see, would not be 11:12. It would be directly 11:13. And I used to do this all the time. I haven't done this recently, but anyway, so that's what it means. 11:11 is the doorway to a new dimension. Make a wish, whatever. Transfer yourself to a parallel reality. Okay, Glad says bingo. Thank you. Boring Ghost says, what is the key to breaking out of no contact? What a loaded fucking question. You need to start, I hate to be a broken record, but you really need to start first investigating what even created the situation. And it all goes back to you. Okay, it all goes back to you. You manifested the situation in order to show yourself something about you. Okay, so this is not to blame. Okay, we're just creators of our reality, and we should not. This is why there's no such thing as being desperate, as being powerless. It just doesn't exist. People misinterpret the situations of no contact, of being ghosted and all these kind of things as something that happened to them. No, you've created the situation. So the idea is to understand how, so that you can reverse engineer it and break yourself out of no contact. But you cannot do this without understanding what are the triggers for you right now, what kinds of things you would have to believe about yourself, that you've allowed the situation to be manifested in your reality. What kinds of situations are you believing about yourself, about romantic partners, the kind of relationship that you deserve? I mean, it's a plethora of things. So there's no way for me to just like address this like, oh, do this and do that, It really, this is what I do every single day with my clients. It really just depends from one case to another, what kinds of hangups It just has to do, if I put it short, it has to do about self-esteem. Okay. At some point, maybe during childhood, maybe during adolescence, somebody really fucked with your mind, okay, for the lack of better verbiage. Somebody convinced you that you're not good enough, and you're playing this out over and over in your life. And I bet you money, this is not the only situation that you had that was like that. It just can be. It's not the only reason. The only case that you had. You've had many other things like that where you got fucked over in your personal life. So your job is to figure out what it is you're doing up here that it's producing this result. Because once you fix the up here and you're honest about it, which I just discussed, like being honest about what it is that you're feeling, thinking, the kind of emotionality, not just pacing over. Here's the other thing, really quick. I just really wanted to talk about this. There's these people, and I've met them in my coaching also, where it's like people who are honest about their emotions and about what they've lived without being embarrassed about. There's no point of being embarrassed about it. It's stupid, okay? Not for nothing, but it's stupid. Why? Because you're here to work on things. So if you're going to be embarrassed about something, listen, I can tell you stories from my personal life that I should be embarrassed, but I'm fucking not. Okay, because I didn't know how to do these things when I was like 23, 25. I just fucking didn't. So I made a bunch of mistakes. But you really need to come honest and not try to, like, if there is still residual, in other words, of unworthiness, fear, insecurities, some kind of anger, resentment, all that jazz needs to come up. All right? It just needs to come up. You need to exhaust it. You need to exhaust it. You need to talk about this with your coach. I'm not a therapist. It's a different kind of rapport than with a therapist. Okay? A therapist, honestly, just sits there and just listens to you most of the time. And just keeps asking you questions, not particularly driving you towards a goal, not particularly driving you, not particularly allowed to give you an opinion or suggestion. They just keep asking you questions, more or less like an interrogation, actually. They could go on forever. This is why people stay in therapy for a long time. Now, if you absolutely need therapy and you have some issues, by all means, please go to therapy. Coaching is not for you, all right? If you have some kind of a thing, like it's anxiety or PTSD, that is not what I'm talking about. When you really need a therapist is when, I mean, you just can't handle yourself in a rational way. That's what I'm talking about. I've had people in my coaching with PTSD, who have been molested in their childhood, many of those who have, anxiety and this and that. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you are unpredictable. I'm talking about you have anger issues that you even lash out on your coach. So yeah, had to endure that. But the thing is, be honest about your emotions and process them with your coach, okay, with the guidance of the coach, so that you don't have to cover up, okay, all the stuff that needs to come up. This is so important. I'm giving you gold right here. Seriously, take notes. So you don't have to cover it up with some kind of affirmations. Oh, yes, everything's okay. Oh, yes, everything's okay. When I see in plain sight that everything is not fucking okay. And you plainly lying to me as if I'm an idiot. I've done this long enough. I know exactly when the person is lying to me. Now, why they're lying to me could be many reasons. Maybe because they're embarrassed they haven't gotten there. Maybe because they just want to get over it and just do things already and manifest things. But you're not going to manifest this way. You're just not. You're just going to continue day in and day out with the same issues. It's a lot smarter, it's a lot wiser being completely transparent with yourself, how you feel, what you're doing day in and day out, what's not working, however fucking long it takes you. Some people, it just takes longer. All right? It doesn't mean that you're fucking slow, doesn't mean that you're stupid, doesn't mean any of these things. It just means it takes you longer because for you, it was extra hard to live through those things. And when I really, what's traumatic to one person may not be traumatic to another. Some people just get impacted more. Okay, and so however long it fucking takes you, it takes you that time. And it has nothing to do with how old you are, has nothing to do with, again, what's traumatic to one person may not be traumatic to another. Okay, some people different people, different situations, okay? But the thing that you don't do is cover up. Put a smile when you really feel like crying, okay? Start affirming when you don't really believe it, okay? Start saying it's okay when inside you're breaking. Who are you doing that for? That is not this positive thinking fucking bullshit. No, 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 no. You cannot hypnotize yourself enough to think positively if you still got shit to process inside. And don't worry, your reality will let you know about it because reality doesn't lie, meaning your manifestations. Okay, let me read something. Excuse me. Glad Info says, I recently asked a coach if I could bring my cat back. Okay, who has died? And they said, yes, but it's a stretch. Okay, we're not talking about things like that, darling. I'm sorry about your cat, but I mean, maybe you can bring them back as a new animal with the same personality. But, that's probably not in a way that you want it to be, meaning not literally, okay? Okay, I mean, reincarnation is real, so you probably can manifest it in a new cat. Laura P goes, I often get 11:11 when I look at the time without looking for it. Yeah. The more you look for these things, like sometimes I go outside and I go to a meeting or somewhere, and I'm like, I want to see this sequence. And I see it like within a second or two, within a minute for sure. Or I want to see a white feather. It's just a fun way also to confirm, to reaffirm to yourself that, yeah, I am creating everything. I'm literally creating everything around me. Literally everything. Yes, the cars, the number sequence, everything. And it's a fun reminder that you should really know day in and day out. It's a shift, like, so, okay, let me try to explain this. It's a real good shift in consciousness, a good shift in ideology. When you think that the reality is happening to you, to reality is happening from me. It's happening from me. Everything is coming from me. So everything that I'm observing, everything that's currently going on in my reality, I'm energetically feeding that shit. So all I need to do is figure myself out. And if I have that down, nobody can fucking stop me. You can create literal magic on a daily basis. And by magic, I really mean getting the money, getting the proposal, manifesting a new job, manifesting whatever you want. And in a very short period of time, okay? But you really need to understand, that this separation that you have right now, whether that's you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have SP, you created that situation because you want to show yourself something. Your higher self is always with you. You are not deprived of anything. There's no separation. You're just showing yourself that here I am so powerful, I can create the separation from what I really want. So what I need to figure out is, why did I create that? What part of my fucking mechanism is doing that? So I can go revisit it. And sometimes it's so subtle. It's almost like you don't notice it until you start digging for it. And that's what I really do best. Okay. Before I get carried away, let me read some things here. Okay, Boring goes, thank you for answering these questions. You're an incredible woman and life-changing. Thank you. Well, you haven't been in coaching with me, so talk to me then. This is just a Q&A. Okay, Glad Info says, therapist ingrains the trauma and keep billing forever. Yeah, I have been to a therapist a long time ago myself. And I have to say it left me wanting more. I really didn't, I felt worse afterwards, somehow. I didn't really feel like that was productive. And I feel like it's the same for things like it just has to resonate with you. That person needs to resonate with you because it's inevitable. So that here's the other thing, if you're looking for a coach, really pay attention to that person's ideology, right? Because it's going to inevitably, we're all human, we're not AI, okay? Inevitably, their ideology will rub off on you. Is everybody fucking perfect? No. Okay, but their principles, the way that they think, what they're focusing on, how they push you to do better. Like in my case, I always want the clients in my coaching to do better, better, better. And I'm very focused on that. I want results for you. I'm like a bulldog in that department. I'm not going to be pushing you to extreme, but I'm really going to demand of you to show up with some results. Okay, and to do the assignments that I give you diligently, and really to understand that this really is important for you. Okay, and take my feedback to heart. Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, boring ghosts is taking over my chat over here. It's okay. I have a problem telling myself the old story over and over again. I recently began to reprogram my subconscious mind via subliminals. Oh, I just talked about this. It doesn't really work. And it seems a lot easier to stay in the wishful field. Yeah, I don't know if you were here, but I just talked about this. You would have to rewatch that. I don't believe in that. I don't, to me, it's just like affirming 10,000 times a day. So you need to, when I'm finished, you'll rewatch it. You need to work on your beliefs. And in my coaching, I discussed that. Or at the very least, you can join the webinar. Again, I already spoke about this. So we need to keep going. Also, boring ghosts. If things seem easier, how does that mean does it mean I have shifted? Well, yeah, every little bit helps. I'm just not exactly sure like what kind of work other than the subliminals you've done in shifting. The real shift is that when you start believing something new and it becomes more familiar to you than what you used to believe. Okay, boring ghost again. One more questions. Are you familiar with numerology life path? I have heard that the life path number 9 is considered a master manifestor. Have you heard this? I'm sorry, I'm rolling my eyes because everybody wants to feel important. Numerology is just permission slip, as Bashar would put it, to have certain things have meaning. Everybody can become a master manifestor. Okay, nobody's more entitled than the next person. What's different though is different people are at different levels of being advanced. Okay, some people are not at all advanced, don't even care to look into the situation or think it's complete bullshit. Okay, manifestation. Meanwhile, they live in this manifestation 24/7. So go figure. To me, the reason I rolled my eyes is because people keep coming up with these situations like, I am whatever, the priestess and the this and the that. I am a mermaid and I'm a this. We're all the same, okay? We're all equal. Some of us more developed than others. There's that. But it doesn't make somebody, kind of like royalty of manifestation, if you will, doesn't put you above anybody, really. And if anything, why I actually felt so inspired, like during COVID, to come on and create this channel, because if you're really driven in this department, you have an obligation to inspire somebody else. That's the way I see it. Right? I mean, obviously I charge money for it because everybody should value their time, but at the core of it, for me, I can't get enough of this work because I almost feel it is my duty to inspire and let a lot of people, as many people as I can, know like what I know and what has worked for me, because the way I see it, it's super easy. It just is. And, you know, again, when I was 12, I was already manifesting shit, that unconsciously so, but it was really easy for me and continues to be easy. Okay, not to say that certain parts I haven't, you know, didn't have to work on, but overall it was an easy experience. So I hope I answered that. If I didn't, then let me know. But you can always book an hour an hour session with me, and if you want to, upon that hour, if you want to conclude, because you've asked a lot of good questions, and I can give you the 10% if you want to come into coaching with me upon that hour. Gladly would accommodate that. Okay. Glad Info says, can you revise other humans? Yes, as if they were never born. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Can you give me background? Can you give me specifics? Arabuz Hini says, Salut ma chérie, ça va bien, très bien. Magical, simply wonderful. Okay, so come back to me with the clarification, Glad Info. I need to check my notes. So I discussed affirmations. You know what it really comes down to, guys, right? Oh, here's boring ghosts again. How do you feel about having inner conversations with your SP? Okay, let me answer it. It'll tie in with my topic here that I have on my pad. Oh my God, we're already at an hour. Holy shit, bananas. Okay, I'm gonna go probably like maybe 15 more minutes, and then, so parenthesis here, in the webinar, group or private. So group will be like 5-10 people, I think would be a good idea. It will be like this, except it will be on Zoom. Okay, I don't know that I can do it like this in YouTube. It will be on Zoom. I feel more comfortable doing the Zoom situation. And it will be like this, but I will be discussing like a lot of the coaching things that will really help you. So we'll spend like 2.5, 3 hours together, and I will go through certain things without going through your history. Obviously, I can't fucking do that in a group situation. But it will be like this, okay? Except you'll be able to talk to me, all right? So that's better than typing. And it'll be longer time, okay? So it's on my website. It's like $550. So it has to be like at least 5 people. Otherwise, you know, so what was I going to say? Oh, and for the private one, it'll be like 4 hours, but it's only with one person. If you don't want, you know, the entire group knowing your story and this and that, I took that into consideration. But essentially, okay, here's what I was going to say. This is like sampling my coaching. Ultimately, you would need to be in my coaching. Okay. Boring goes, hold on 1 second with that. Let me just answer this really quick. I'm coming right back to you. Basically, okay, Glad Info says basically making certain people unalive or somehow disappear. It's possible, but why do you want to do that, is my point. Yeah, of course it's possible, making somebody disappear, but can you give me a situation? Okay, so here's what I want to like insert here really quick while you guys are typing. Know that you can tell any story, okay? Any story you want. And that's another fundamental point in manifestation. So just because something is a lie right now, it doesn't mean that it cannot become true. So you can sit down and start scripting. Like I have my notes and I do script myself. I'm not going to show you my scripts so you don't know my business, but it's there somewhere. Actually, this is just my notepad. I have my script thing over there. The idea though is that you can start where this story has no relevance in your reality right now, but zero, none whatsoever. Okay, like I've changed narcissists in my coaching. I've changed, you know, people who haven't spoken to each other in years, people who disappeared and go, all these things. So at that moment in time when you're sitting down, that story isn't true. Your obligation, in my coaching at the very least, the way I coach, after we cover your history, for me to understand where you're coming from and why it is you manifested the situation, that's the only thing I'm interested in. I'm not going to keep digging in your history till the end of motherfucking time. I just need to understand what's in your brain right now. What kind of mechanism is operating? This is why I cover history. And so that will give me a ton of information then how to reconstruct your beliefs. But when we are through that situation, we arrive that it might take you like a week or two in some cases, because it's very difficult for people to start believing something new. But you'd be amazed, amazed and dazzled. If you come into my coaching, I'm not even bragging. This is the absolute truth. How revolutionary that will become, how revealing it will become, why you're not manifesting what you want to manifest right now in this moment in time, and what you need to do to start manifesting it. Okay, and like I said, some people are even hesitant to go there and start talking about it because, again, they're under this stupid impression that people have promoted with the positive thinking, that if they voice something, it will come true. Now, imagine how stupid the universe would be if it doesn't let you work on yourself. That's stupid. That's completely stupid. The universe knows that you're in coaching. The universe is benevolent. It's on your side completely. It's going to let you do the work without manifesting bullshit. Okay. And so you, at the end of my coaching, what I do is after you're through with beliefs and this and that, and you kind of like grounded in this new possibility for you to create, you start writing a new story, and you can tell any story whatsoever, but any story. And what used to be completely unfathomable to you, completely foreign, completely off the wall, and completely just, you don't even know how it's going to happen, it will happen. I've done it in my own life many, many, many times over. I've done it in my clients' lives. And they themselves are fucking shocked. Okay, overwhelmed in some cases. It happens so quick. But you have to be honest what it is you believe at any point in time. And so to answer your question, boring ghosts, how do you feel about having inner conversations with your SP? This is what I talk about on my channel endlessly. This is what telepathy is about. This is what, this is how you change your SP mentally. I've changed my SP that way. I've changed many people that way. Does it have to be romantic? You can pre-order your entire life that way, day by day, every day, sitting down in meditation, sending the thoughts to whoever you're going to have a meeting with, or whoever you want to get in contact with, or whoever you want anything from, quite frankly. Maybe you want somebody to give you a great job, or somebody to give you a sum of money, or whatever. Anything is possible, as long as you believe it, right? Cannot stress this enough. So don't exhaust yourself. Here's why manifesting doesn't work for some people, is because manifesting works. You're not working for yourself. That's a different story, okay? Very different story. If you don't believe something, no matter what kind of fucking story you tell, it will be, you can be honest with yourself. Do you believe what you write down day in and day out? Or it's just a joke to you and it's just a pipe dream? I know, for me, myself, I can sit down, write something down, and for me, that's the law of the land. And I'm not questioning it. It's like, this is what we're doing. And I'm not watching the time. I'm not checking my email. I know exactly it's going to happen. I know exactly that it's going to happen. I don't need to worry about it. But most people who don't manifest, they don't believe what they're writing in the first place. So how can it happen? You are the creator of your reality. You're not totally sold on that idea. Why the fuck would why the fuck would the universe be sold on it? You are the universe. So if you're not sold on it, then nobody's sold on it. The end. Okay? When you really believe something, it's like you know it. You know it. So when you reach that point of knowing, Okay, relaxing into knowing rather than, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? Nothing. You just need to arrive at the point of knowing. And so, yes, telepathy with your conversations with your SP all the time. That is the most effortless way to turn around any relationship. And the idea that I cannot stress enough is that you have to know that you thinking what you're thinking to them, meaning like what you're corresponding to them in your mind, is literally what they're thinking. There's no question about it. But if you're questioning it, then it's not working. In other words, if you're working it, you're working. It's working. Okay. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm so thirsty. Okay, user 0000. How imaginative, darling. Do you like hunting? No, I do not. I like animals. I'm vegan vegetarian. Soapy Jr., I agree. Thank you. Have I ever gone hunting? No. Okay, boring ghost. Thank you. You're welcome. Laura P. Never wish death on someone, even if they're evil. It'll backfire. Yeah, I think Laura P. He wasn't saying like to kill somebody. I think he just wants to uncreate somebody from the reality, which is possible. And the way it happens, right? The mechanism behind it. I can give a whole lecture just on that, but we're going to have to wrap up here pretty soon. It just you vibrating them out of your reality based on your decision and based on your vibration. You ever notice some people disappear on their own? Like some lower vibration people? It has happened to me many times. Or you stop getting along with them, that you no longer see eye to eye. You're kind of like, wow, I used to be friends with you. It happened to me so many different ways. When you start elevating your consciousness, get ready. You're about to change your entire life. You're about to make more money. You're about to meet new friends. You're about to lose a lot of friends. Not everybody's going to like you. Abandon that idea. So yeah, it's literally vibrating people out of your life, and you do it with you can do it intentionally, or you can just do it by becoming a higher version of yourself. And all of a sudden, all the lower versions of these people will disappear, and everybody will conform to being on the same frequency, or they will disappear altogether. Okay? And that's their choice. It's not really killing anybody or anything like that. Okay, glad info goes. Just watching the time. I don't want to make this too long because you guys are going to rewatch this. This is a really good one. I always say it, but this is a really good one. You're gonna have to rewatch it. You're gonna want to rewatch it, because I'm curating and customizing my reality. I like that word, curating, like museum. Customizing my reality experience and experimenting as evolving as a manifestor. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Fair game. Because when I was 9, I unsliced someone with simply a prayer. What do you mean by unsliced? What, like pizza? It was simply a prayer, sorry. And the news came the next day, and I felt so pure being in that vibe. You're gonna have to explain to me what unsliced means. If that vibrate, if you unalived, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you mean oh. Okay, if I'm reading this correctly, do you mean to say that they're no longer living? I don't know about that, darling. I wouldn't do that. There's a difference between intuition and actually doing it on purpose. I wouldn't do that. That I wouldn't do. If you deliberately made them made them go banana, excuse me, make them go to heaven, let's just call it that, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that at all. Sorry, one second. More tea. That is not for you to do. There's no reason for you to do that. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, perhaps boring ghosts goes, perhaps I didn't phrase it correctly. What I meant to say was holding a positive conversation with yourself, playing both the part of you and your SP back and forth. Yes. I assume this will thought transmit. Yes, that's exactly what it is. They will eventually feel compelled to act via this. Yes. Glad info. I have unconsciously unalived over 10 people. Yeah, you better be careful with that. That's all I have to say. And I had no hate towards them. I was just experimenting and it worked. Death to me is not okay. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't do that, darling. That's all I have to say. You're playing with fire here. Yeah. It's not your job. It doesn't matter if you hated them or not. Of course I agree death is not the worst thing that can happen to you, but it's not your job. It's not for you to do. You really need to, every manifestation that you need to, what, there's nothing else to experiment on. Every manifestation you need to go into with the idea of in the best interest of everybody involved. And wishing somebody death is not exactly not harming anybody. Okay. Harshita Rana, hi. Yes, hi. Okay. So far I like boring ghosts questions, and I really liked, hold on, who else was here? Nobody else. Well, and Glad Info asked a good question. So the two of you, if you want to be in my coaching, I can give you 10%. Unless there's somebody else, I'll stay on like for a couple more minutes. Let me check my notes real quick. Hold on, let me just make sure. Yeah, so now I agree with Laura P. I just misunderstood what he was saying. Thank you, boring ghosts. Thank you. I try. Right. So where I stopped was it relaxing into knowing. And knowing for me, you're welcome, Laura, darling. Knowing for me is literally knowing that everything is here now and the power is in your hands. And instead of fretting about it or doing something weird in the 3D, you just assume, okay? The assumption has to be that if you desire it, first of all, it desires you also. And there is no such thing as a lie if it's benevolent, if it's something that you want to create that's benevolent. Okay, I would really start with that. Everything has to be benevolent. Now, and let me tell you why that is important really quick. Because I've had some haters in my life, right? Some of them were my exes, to be honest. Some of them were my friends, right? So people have a real fucking problem when you start making a lot of money. What can I say? Or that you are inspired and this and that. So unfortunately, it attracts some kind of a, situation sometimes. I never wished ill on them. Never in my life. Was I angry with them? Was I disappointed? Was I heartbroken? This and that and the other. They tried to screw me over. They did that. I never once wished ill upon them. I don't know how I was able to do that, being that upset, and trust me, they went out of their way to really fuck with me. But you know what? There have been so many other different situations where it could have gone really badly. And I don't know how else to explain it other than the universe was so on my side, right? That I didn't have that bad karma, in other words. Like, I let those people do whatever they did and just protected myself in some cases legally and this and that. But I never wished them energetically ill. I just wanted them, to leave me alone, or I just wanted justice and I just wanted protection from some crazy individuals. Okay, let's just put it this way. I don't need to go into details. And what that does is that you are protected, essentially. You're protected to such a degree where there are things that I was finding out later that I didn't know about, that, you know what I mean? It was so amazing how I got protected. So never wish anybody ill. And know that the universe is constantly on your side. You don't have to wish anybody ill to get what you want or to experiment or this, that, any other. I'll give you an example and I'll close with this. Just know that you can manifest anything you want and you can live like a happy, magnificent, brilliant life without ever causing anybody any harm. This is a silly example, but it just goes to show how you don't need to do anything bad, okay? So I used to have these neighbors, all right? I used to live in an apartment where I had these neighbors who would smoke like, oh my God, it was like, I'm allergic, I think, to the cigarette smoke. And I would start sneezing and everything. Lovely ladies, beautiful ladies, and this and that. But they would smoke, like, if they were in the apartment, which was most of the time, they would smoke. Like, from the time that they, like, opened their eyes till the late night when they went to sleep. And they were adorable, don't get me wrong, but I just, it was it was interfering with my enjoyment of my life. And one day I just had enough and I kind of got angry, but, and I said, this is it. I've had enough. Okay, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. But what I want for them either to stop smoking or they are relocating somewhere. But nothing bad has to happen. Okay, you always have to preface this by that. Nothing bad has to happen. And I'm not even kidding. I already gave this example on my channel. Within a week, I'm not even joking, within a week, maybe even sooner, okay, they literally relocated back to Malaysia, where they were from, something like this. I think it was Malaysia, I'm pretty sure. Because they got a new job offer, both of them, because they worked together and they were from the same country, essentially. And I'm not sure if it was Malaysia or it was Japan or something like this. And essentially, they relocated back, and I saw them like packing their stuff up and shipping it out and this and that. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we got a beautiful offer, and the job over there pays more money, ba ba boo, ba ba boo. And I was like, damn. And I was living smoke free, from that moment on. But it was so quick. It was so quick. So it just goes to show you, like, you don't have to fuck anybody over. You don't have to, wish ill upon anybody else. Instead of wishing ill upon, like, let's just say somebody, like your SP or somebody fucked you over and cheated on you, like really did a number on you and this and that. You know what my favorite thing is, honestly, and I've done this to many of my SPs to whom I really cared to do it, okay? Some of them, I never fucking wanted to see them again. But and it didn't really matter to me. But some of them, you kind of care that they come and they fucking apologize. And so, sorry, my favorite thing, and I'm going to close with this. I'm going to read the comments and then that's it. Literally 7 minutes. I made them apologize to me. And they would reach out. I let them behave the way that they behaved. I never wished them ill. I never wanted to, you know what I mean, revenge and this and that and the other. You know what the best revenge is? Revenge is completely forgive them, completely set them free, let them go on their merry way. Yeah, they were completely an asshole to you, this, that, and the other. All of that is valid. But the thing with you is that you have to be untouched by that energy. You need to look forward. You need to completely focus on what it is you're doing next. And that's exactly what I did. It wasn't easy, trust me. In some relationships, holy shit bananas. It was really difficult. But I chose to focus on what am I doing next? What am I doing now that, I want a bright new future? And they inevitably came to me, and literally, when I'm telling you, they were a completely different person when they came back, and I didn't want them anymore, but they were a completely different person, and they really genuinely apologized to me. And I'm really talking asshole shit. Okay, really bad. Okay. And again, some people, I don't give a fuck to change. I really fucking don't. I don't never want to see their face again. It was like that. But with some people, it served me that I didn't hold on to that grudge. It served me that I was so kind of like focusing on how I'm going to better myself and this and that. What lessons have I learned from this? Babapoo. And then I would literally, it happened to me one time. I thought of my ex, and then in a week, I manifested his apology. And some other exes, I was kind of like, I was making up my mind whether I want to hear from them or not. Eventually, I did make up my mind. And when I did, it came, together. Okay, let me quickly, 5 more minutes, guys, because then it's like an hour and a half. Laura P. I regretted wishing ill, even if something happened to that person, right? You learn. I mean, I never felt satisfaction. There's no satisfaction in that. It just, you just get deeper with the drama. That is not the energy you want to invite in your life. And felt sorry and wished I didn't manifest that. Right, right. And I know what you're talking about. At least one instance that you shared with me. Revenge is a very short-filled experience, never fulfilling in the end. Correct. And then Boring Ghosts goes, Anna, I have felt a strong connection to your advice since last fall. Oh, okay. Thank you. I would love to email you my story to see if some form of coaching would be appropriate. Would it be possible to email a short history to see if some form of coaching is possible? Or do I need to book a... Yeah, listen, book a coaching session, okay? Because that's how, it's most productive. So the hour is the hour, and if you start coaching with me, then I'll give you 10% of each month, okay? But I mean, emails, I don't do emails, okay? I'd rather talk to you. I'd rather ask questions. That is more productive than writing an email, okay? I really don't like long emails. I'm sorry. The way I coach, again, either it's audio or Zoom session or phone call. I really need to hear emotion. I really need to ask questions. I really need to have this interaction with you. Okay, so I'm trying to think what else I had to say. I'm forgetting, I'm sure, something. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating today. Really interesting session. I hope I answered everybody's questions. And just be inspired with the idea. I want to leave you with this. Be inspired with the idea, okay, that your authenticity will carry you through life. And what's authentic about you, that is your niche. That is your gold. That is your golden Buddha status. Temporarily, you may have forgotten about it, and not for nothing, but when you start being authentic, when you start being in love with yourself in a very healthy way, not in an egotistical, narcissistic way, but in love with yourself as a pure respect for yourself. When you start investing in self-development, self-betterment, investing in your business, investing in doing things that really resonate with you, your frequency rises, you have access to new worlds, okay? And then I don't give a fuck what you want to manifest, as long as it's benevolent, as long as it's something that really, excuse me, makes your heart sing. You can have anything. You can have anything, okay? What you think that you're capable of manifesting right now, it's not even in the vicinity what you are able to. Take it from me. Okay, 15 years ago, I had no fucking clue what I could manifest. I would laugh at a person who would tell me that today this is where I would be. I would not believe it. But yet I'm here. Why is that? Because the universe is unlimited. It gives you unlimited chances to reinvent yourself. It gives you unlimited opportunities to become exactly who you are. And my whole purpose of creating this channel is just to inspire and coach people like yourself. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Boring Ghosts. for the compliments. Thank you so much. He says, thank you, Anna. You're an amazing woman. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. I'm going to, it's going to be now uploaded in just a second here. And please rewatch it. I think this was a good one. And see you next Saturday. And come up with more questions. All right. Maybe I'll give another 10%. I don't know, to somebody else. Bisous. Ciao, ciao now.